Hey guys. Just waiting for some people to join. Here we go. Hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in today. All right, so go ahead and tell me your name, where you're from. If you want to tell me what project you're working on, go ahead and put your comments down below so I can see them, okay? Hello, hello. Hi, Kate from New Jersey. I wonder if it's cold up there. I live in Missouri. We recently moved from South Carolina to Missouri, and so today it's pretty warm actually. So my South Carolina South blood, I'm liking that. So I wonder if you're cold in New Jersey though. Hello. Hey Marianne, I'm doing good. How about you? Doing good. I have a newborn baby and she slept from 9 o'clock last night until 6 a.m. this morning. So I'm doing really good. I got a lot of sleep, so I'm doing really good. Hello, Janet from Wisconsin. Oh, another Missouri, Faye. I'm in Missouri as well, Southern Missouri. We just recently moved here. So hello, hello. Okay, so I am Rachel from Cozy Nooks Designs. And anyway, for those who are continuing to join, we are going to talk about how to make the modern woodland pillows, which can be found in the Annie's Catalog Christmas edition for 2020. You can find this at most newsstands. So pick it up. We're going to be going over these pillows right here. So it says over the river and through the woods. And it's a complementary to this this blanket, the modern woodland blanket. So I made these designs as well as this one that's hiding in the corner. That is a faux fur tree skirt. So anyway, we're going to be going over this today. I'm going to talk about how to do tapestry crochet, how to read a pattern, just tips that I've picked up over the years. I really enjoy tapestry crochet, so we'll go over that together. Hello, Nora from Ireland. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. And Darla from Seattle. Okay, so let me pull up the pattern here so you can see. This is inside the Annie's Christmas 2020 edition. Inside the magazine here, and you can see the modern woodland pillows right here, over the river and through the woods. And then in the magazine it talks about different tips of how to do tapestry crochet, and then it also includes the chart, which in my opinion is the most important part of the pattern. It has a little bit of text in it, but the chart, you can make the pillows just from looking at the chart. And to be honest, I think it's easier just to look at the chart and not look at all the words, because the words can be kind of hard to follow. So I have printed off a separate print off copy on my printer here so that I can mark it and show which way everything needs to go. So this is the same as what's found in the magazine. It's just easier for me to write with my pencil on this piece of paper than the magazine. So what we need to note here you can see the different numbers up the side column here. And it's on the other side, there are even numbers. So what you need to remember when making tapestry crochet for this project is when you are on an odd number, you are going right to left. And then when you are on an even number, you're going this way on the chart. So you go this way, and then the next row you go back this way, and then the next row you go this way, and you continue up carrying the yarn. You don't have to cut off the black and then restart. You can just work your way up zigzag style. Okay. Hi, Mary from South Africa. How cool. Hey, Mary, thanks for joining. All right, so now that we know how the chart works, let's also discuss the coloring. So in tapestry crochet, you usually only use 2 colors because you're going to be carrying your color along the project. And if you get more than 2 colors, it gets kind of tricky trying to hide both colors under the stitches without them peeking through. So usually you only do 1 color in tapestry crochet. Otherwise you'll have little bobbins, and you can do graph can, or some people call it intarsia crochet. You can do bobbins so you don't carry the yarn through. But for this one, it's just easiest to carry the yarn through and to do tapestry crochet. All right, now let's take a look at the finished pillow. I have it here. You can see over the river, and then the other one says and through the woods. You can see here that I do have the black sort of peeking through between the different rows, but when you step back, it really isn't that noticeable. And to be honest, who wants to weave in all those ends, right? I for sure want to minimize as many ends I have to weave in always, so it's best just to carry it through. Oh, Malaysia, hello, hello. Thank you for joining. All right, so let's get started and we can make this together. Let me flip the camera around so that we can do this together. Just 1 second. There we go. Okay, so I have my H 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. I have my white yarn and my complementary color here. I chose white and black because I wanted it to be a clean, simple design, but you can choose any color that you want. And something that works really well if you are worried about the show through, if you find a base color with flecks in it, that hides show through really well. So if you don't like the look of this slight color poking through, you can just get some yarn that has some flecks, like tweed yarn, and that will hide it even more. All right, so looking at the chart, you can see that we have our main color of white, and then our complementary color is black. You can see that in the key right here. And like I mentioned before, we have our odd numbers on this side and our even numbers on this side. And that is important to note because when we are on an odd row, we will be working from right to left. And when we're on an even row, we will be working from left to right on the chart, if that makes sense, because we will be working on the back side and then crocheting. All right, so we will do some examples so you can understand it. For those who are just joining, I can see some people are still joining now. We're making the Over the River pillow that was published in the Annie's Christmas 2020 edition, and we're going over tapestry crochet. So these are the modern woodland pillows. Okay, so the pattern wants us to crochet 12 rows before we introduce the complementary color, the black, but I am not going to do that right now. Just for the example, I only did 2 rows. So I did my chain 69, and then I did my first row, and then my second row. And so I am now on an I'm on an odd row, so I will be reading from the chart from right to left, and I'm ready to start. Let me get the chart here so we can look at it together. So we're going to pretend that I did all of these rows and that we are on 13. And row 13 says that we need to crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with our white and then switch to black. All right, so chain 1, and then we just do our regular single crochets. For tapestry crochet, it is always typically single crochet because you can hide your stitches better, the ones that you're carrying through. Let me see how many I've got here. I'm not very good at crocheting and talking at the same time while keeping count, so let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 more. All right, but on our 9th stitch, we don't complete it because we will be changing colors. So we pull up a loop and stop, and instead of yarning over and pulling through both loops like you normally do for single crochet, you're going to stop, pull your main color forward so it is out of your way, grab your complementary color, and leaving a long tail. Let me show you how long my tail is. Leaving a long tail, you're going to pull through both loops here. And that completes the 9th stitch. Because if I didn't do my complementary color, if I did just finish up with this stitch, this right here is like the top of our 10th stitch. So it would look funny. You would have the wrong color here. It's like if the roof didn't match the wall color of a house, if that makes sense. If I continued on and this was the top of the next stitch. So we have to switch to our complementary color. Again, we pull the main color forward, and having a long tail, you pull through and complete that 9th stitch. All right. And then we give a little tug on our main color, and we are going to carry our main color through these 2 stitches here because we're going to pick it back up again. And so instead of cutting off, doing the 2 stitches, starting again, and then doing these 4 stitches, cutting off, we're just carrying it through because we've got less ends to weave in, and we're all about that, right? Okay, so we have our complementary color ready, and with this main color, I am holding it on the back side towards the top with my fingers here, and then I am going to crochet over, you see it there, over that main color so that I can pick it up again. So we have 1 stitch, and the pattern says we need to do 2. So we start our 2nd stitch and then pause when we have 2 loops on our hook. We're not going to complete this, remember, because if we complete it, it's going to make the next stitch look funny because it's the wrong color. So we pull this color forward, and then we pick up the main color because that's the next stitch, and then we're going to complete this single crochet. Now I want to talk about this. Normally, to complete the single crochet, you yarn over and you pull through, but it actually, this is a little tip here. You want to yarn under and pull through these 2 loops. And the reason why is because in tapestry crochet, you want to try to get, if you're doing letters, if you're doing a picture, whatever design you're doing, you want to try to get your stitches as straight as you can. And in crochet, they tend to slant. That's how crochet works. They slant. They're never actually stacked on top of one another like this grid makes it appear. So let me pull up and show you. You can see how it's zigzag looking. Doot, 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 doot. That's just crochet. That's how crochet works. And you can't avoid it, but there are tips to minimize it. And so this is one of the tips to minimize it. You yarn under when switching colors, and that helps square up your stitch and makes your design slant less. It also uses less yardage, which isn't a factor, but just as a fun tip for you, it uses less yardage if you yarn under. So if you didn't know the difference between yarning under and yarning over, that is one of the differences. If you yarn under, it makes your stitches slant less, and it also uses less yardage. But you don't want to do yarn unders through the whole project, just when you're switching colors. Okay, now that we understand that tip, we are ready to then do these 4 stitches in our main color here. So again, I have my complementary color on the back side of my work. I'm holding it towards the top so that I can crochet over it and carry it along. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We stop again. We pull this color forward. We pick up the color we're changing to, because we're changing right here. We're changing to these 2 black stitches. And then instead of yarning over and pulling through the 2 loops, you yarn under and pull through. And that helps us with less slantage for our stitches. All right, so now we are ready to do these 2 single crochets here. We're gonna stop, pull this forward, grab the main color, and yarn under. Let me show you how it looks here. So we've got the first row of these dots right here. We have one more dot we have to do with 2 single crochet stitches. Let me show you the back side of the work. The back side, you can see, shows the black a little bit more, doesn't it? Let me show you the front again. You can hardly see the black at all peeking through, or the white on this side. But if you turn it over, you can see the white on the back side more, and the black. And I'm going to show you, because right now this isn't a problem. We like how this looks because the front side is what matters. When we get to the next row, row 14, that's when this becomes a slight issue. But I have a trick for you, so just hold tight, okay? Hang in with me and I'll show you my trick to make it look good. So we are ready to do our next 4 single crochets with our white. 1, 2, 3, and we stop on our 4th, pull this forward, and then, oh, I got a fuzz ball. There we go. And then yarn under. Oh, and I never mentioned, and you want to make sure you give this a tug when you're switching colors, otherwise it becomes too loose and you will see show through. Same for when you're switching colors. If this is too loose, we're going to have problems when you pick up the stitch. So you want it loose enough that it's not curling on you, but tight enough that you're not seeing the stitches peeking through. All right, let's do our last dot here. 1, 2, pause when there's 2 loops, pull this forward, yarn under. Perfect. All right, instead of completing this full row here, I'm going to do 3 stitches of the main color, and then I'm going to go back and work this back side just so I can show you the tips and what helps hide the show through when you're working on the back side. All right, so I'm going to drop this black here and not crochet over it as if I am finishing the row. So 1, 2, 3. And let's just pretend that I finished the row and I am ready to start row 14. So then at the start of row 14, you chain 1 and you turn. Usually at the end of a row, I will untangle my yarn balls because they get a little tangled. You can see they get a little twisted when you're switching back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So let me untangle these so that we can make it manageable and not stop constantly. Okay. All right, so let's pick up right here. This graph, this box right here is where I'm going to start and pretend like this is the start of the row. All right, because I'm not gonna have time to go back and do all of these stitches. So row 14, it says to do 3 main color and then 2 complementary colors. And I am working on the back side. You can tell it's the back side because we have our tail here, and also our starting tail is on the right hand side. All right, so I insert my hook and do my single crochets like normal. Insert my hook, pull up a loop, yarn under like normal, pull through 2, and this is the last stitch before I change colors. So I stop, I pull this forward, and then I change to my complementary color. And remember, I'm going to yarn under, whoops, so that I can have less slantage and more square stitches. Okay, now it says in the pattern we need to do 2. So 1, 2, we stop, pull this complementary color out of the way, pick up the main color, yarn under, pull through, and then give the complementary color a tug. All right, so you can see that hit it well because there was only 2 stitches that the main color, the white, was going through, so it didn't peek through. But let's see what happens with this big stretch of 4 with the black being trying to hide the black, trying to bury that in the stitches. All right, so 4 with the white, 1, 2, 3, 4, stop, go forward, pick up the complementary color, pull through, and then give this a tug. All right, so let's pause and take a look at this. Do you see the black, how it's coming through a lot right here and here? It's showing in between the stitches. So you can see this is showing, this is showing, and it's because it's in between the stitches. So let me show you how to hide that. When we get to the next stretch of white, I will show you, whoa, this got twisted around. There we go. I will show you how to hide that a little bit better. So now we're right here. We do our 2, 1, 2, stop, change to white, yarn under, and then tug this complementary color, okay? All right, so I'm still gonna crochet over this black for right now for these 4 white stitches. So I go 1, and I'm going to not crochet over this next one with the black. I'm not gonna hide the black, I'm gonna float it. So there's my second white stitch, and I did not try to hide the black. Now I'm going to try to hide the black again. So I'm going to crochet over the black and single crochet. And now I'm not going to for this one. I'm going to pause, pull this out of the way, pick it up, and change colors. All right, let's take a look at the difference now. Do you see how you can't see the black peeking through here or here? How you can when we didn't float the black behind the stitches. Do you see that? But it is hidden here. The reason why is because you are essentially curving behind, and it's not making it a straight flat whoop and poking through. Does that make sense? Do my sound effects make sense? So this float helps curve it behind the stitches so you can't see it. See the difference? This is okay, but not great. And this is perfect, right? You see that there? Okay, so if you guys have any questions, if that doesn't make sense to you, let me know in the comments or give me a thumbs up or a heart so I can know whether that makes sense or not, okay? And then we're going to continue on, and I'll wait for you guys to respond so I know if I need to explain anything better. We are on this last dot here, row 14, these last two main or complementary colors here. So we have our complementary color ready. And like I said, for this white, we don't need to do the floats because there's only 2 stitches here. When it's a longer stretch, that's when we need to do the floats every other stitch. So actually, let me show you. If this, let's pretend instead of just 2 black stitches, let's pretend it's 5. So I can show you this again. I'm seeing a few thumbs up and stuff, but let's just do it again one more time so you can see, and then we'll finish up. So let's pretend like we're doing 5 black stitches. So 1, and I did crochet and hide the white, but this next one I'm not going to. So I let it float, and I do my normal single crochet. Now it's time to pick this back up and not let it float anymore. So I crochet over the white to hide it. All right, so you can see we have 1 float right there. And this only works when you don't need to see the backside. For a pillow like this, you don't see the backside because it's on the inside of the pillow. It doesn't matter. But if you're doing like a blanket or something, this won't work as easily. So, but for pillows, it doesn't matter. You can have these floats. So you can see I picked it back up and I buried the white color in between the stitches for that one. Now it's time to float again. So I single crochet like normal. And now I'm going to pick it up, back up, the white back up, and do my last black stitch and bury the white in. All right, so we did a single crochet over the white for this one, floated, crocheted over, floated, crocheted over. So you alternate it, and that's what helps curve it behind and hide the show through. See? Perfect. You can't see it. So that is how you do the non-dominant or the back side to help minimize the show through on the front side. You see here, let me flip this around so you can look at it. You can see it really helps hide the stitches. This is where we did not do our floats, so I could show you what it looks like without hiding them. But then you can see we hit it here and we hit it here, and it looks a lot better. Okay, so let me flip this back around one last time. Thank you for joining me today. This was so fun. I love tapestry crochet. It is my favorite. I love to design words, sayings, pictures with it. I hope you enjoy the modern woodland pillow design in the Annie's Christmas edition for 2020. Like I said, I designed this pillow here and this one. This is the complimentary modern woodland blanket that goes with it. You can see it says over the river and through the woods. This has some trees on the bottom of it. I had so much fun designing it. I also designed this faux fur tree skirt here in the corner. It's actually what I use for my tree because I love the look. Classic, traditional, but a bit fancy look for my tree. So make sure you go get this issue so that you can check out and make the pattern with me. I loved joining in with you guys today. This was so fun for me. My name is Rachel from Cozy Nooks Designs, and I hope to be able to do this again with you again sometime. Thanks, guys.